Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hey, it's your favorite weekly beer podcast show, What's on Tap Podcast. And we're here to drink more beers, and I'm your host, Stefan.
I'm your host, Martin.
And we're going to review 2 beers today that you brought.
Yes.
Tell us, Martin, what did you bring today?
I'm fairly certain that it's a Spanish brewery. It's Laugar.
Let's see if you're correct.
we never double-checked these facts.
We just took it that you knew what you're talking about. And it is a Spanish brewery.
I never know what I'm talking about.
No surprise there.
Right, they're from Spain.
Yes,
so, I brought 2 imperial stouts from Laugar. The first is Midnight Harvest, which is a imperial stout aged in port wine and bourbon wood.
Yes.
2023 vintage.
Oh, nice.
Smells like wood.
Yeah, it does. Not the kind I'm used to smelling.
It smells kind of sweet wood.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy this beer. I'm going to say right off the top. I think it's going to be really. It's going to be too woody for me.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
That's right. Cheers.
There is almost peat-like aftertaste.
Yeah, it almost tastes smoky.
Yeah.
Could that be the port wine and the bourbon wood combination? I have no idea. It's kind of sweet as well, almost sickeningly sugar
It's a
sweet.
little syrupy sweet for me, which is kind of is not my favorite. And then the aftertaste is a bit over charred wood, kind of ashy almost.
Yeah, it's not one of the best stouts we've had in a while. I don't know what I expected. I almost said that I was disappointed, but with a port wine imperial stout, you never know what you're going to get.
I'm not a big fan of port wine in imperial stouts. I don't think it really works.
No.
And seriously, wine barrel aging in general for stouts, I don't find that the 2 styles usually play together very well.
No.
Every once in a while you get something that's pretty good, but for the most part, they're not the type of barrel-aged beers that I tend to go for.
No, port and sherry casks only really work with lambics.
Yeah, you need a lighter beer to complement the kind of umami nature of the port or the sherry, which I think stouts or porters kind of overtake that quite a bit and create more of a weird concoction. I don't really have much more to say about this beer.
So what's the rating from you?
I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm somewhere 3 to 5. It's a miss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The worst part is that the other one, the next beer, also has a risk of being a dud. This is Laugar Aupa Tovarisch, which is, I guess, Russian for something because it's very Cyrillic letters.
Yes.
But it's aged in Argmagnac barrels.
Well, I will say, the smell off the top almost has kind of a marzipan smell to it, which immediately makes it 10 times better than the last beer we smelled. It smells very sweet again. It smells, very, like I said, marzipan-y kind of.
It's also more boozy in the aroma, which I guess Armagnac would...
Comparing the Midnight Harvest to this beer, the other one smells like an ashtray. It was not my favorite. All right, so
let's try it.
Cheers. Yeah, this smells more like a cognac kind of, flavors coming off the nose. Much stronger alcohol presence.
Yep. But also more flavors. This is the better of the 2 beers, definitely.
Oh, 100%. It's still not great. I think There's a lot of missing elements from it. It's 12%. I find it kind of flat. I find both of these a little flat. It doesn't have
the Midnight Harvest was only 10.
Makes all the difference. That 2% really.
Oh, definitely.
Really. But I like the booziness of this better.
Yes.
But it's still pretty one note.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing that a Sweden and American are drinking a Spanish Russian imperial stout?
You can never have too many Spanish Russian imperial stouts.
That's right.
And we've had beers from Laugar before.
We've drank them, but I don't necessarily.
Well, we haven't had them on the show, but no, we've tried beers from them before.
Yeah,
I don't remember what I thought of them,
and that's probably a bad sign.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. So I'm like, oh, exciting new Laugar beer. I was more like, maybe this one will be good.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like the style Russian Imperial Stout has diminished greatly the last 5 years. Everyone is now making pastry stouts or some kind of American stout. I think that's even categories on Untapped where they are more heavily hopped.
Speaking of categories on Untapped,
yeah.
I don't know if you've looked at the Wheel of Style recently.
They've included more styles.
But they have really exploded they really branched out into the styles.
There's some weird styles.
There's some really weird styles. I tried to look for some when I was in Germany thinking, oh, well, some of these are really German traditional styles. Could not find any of them.
No.
So it'll be really interesting to see how many people are able to find these styles.
Right. I'm guessing that they're following some kind of international jury.
I would imagine it's probably this as well, but also it's getting real weird in there.
Yeah. I'm still searching to finish out the styles and have tasted one from each style. I'm still searching for a genuine chicha beer, which is this Southern American beer that where you need to, when you're brewing it, you need to chew the corn or the malts in order for your mouth enzymes to activate. It's
you know what? I'll need to do some research on this. We might be able to get something. We'll have to see how some things work out here. But there might be a possibility of getting something like that.
Chicha beer.
But yeah, there's several weird new styles in there that I'm just like, how are you ever going to?
No,
There's pre-prohibition era L.
Oh wow!
I was like, wow, really? That's not even a thing. I mean,
that has to be someone making beers according to old recipes, I guess.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
But looking at these styles, it's fun because the weird ones, some of them feel like new additions, so that's meh. But some historical ales like the Kottbusser, Kottbusser, I've never, and it turned out I had tried one,
just randomly, like somehow, yeah.
Lichtenheiner's we search out, so we are probably in the top of Lichtenheiner.
We're the top 1% of people that have tried Lichtenheiner.
Yes,
there are multiple versions of it.
But Russian Imperial Stouts, not a lot of brewers are making them, and nowadays when they make them, they don't really lean into the Russian aspect of it. This is an exception because it's called Aupa Tovarisch with Cyrillic letters, and that surprises me. Back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, beers were named Kate the Great and stuff like that.
Marshal Zukov, as we all remember, probably the best example of a Russian Imperial Stout.
Exactly, that leaned very heavily into the Russian aspect. But nowadays, brewers just happen to make it a Russian Imperial Stout. So, okay, I guess we'll categorize it as such, but then it's just called something completely different.
Yeah. It is kind of a dying style. There are a lot of them. I think Destel makes their, I'm assuming that the Dospodania series.
Oh, right, yeah, that's a good example.
Is variations of Russian Imperial Stout.
Has to be.
I agree with you. I think it's it's kind of a style that's going out of fad, and probably another 5 years it'll come around again.
You think so?
Who knows? I mean,
there are a lot of people trying to make pilsners cool again.
Pilsners have had a really strong resurgence, I will say, and there's a lot of really good pilsners on the market. I think if you look at Mikkeller, their entire beer model is just making pilsners and lagers.
But they're not that good.
They are not that great now.
No.
But I'm saying the pilsner game has upped quite a bit. People are trying to make some really amazing pilsners. And there are some really incredible things out there now that didn't exist before. So that's exciting to see.
But maybe Russian imperial stouts need a little bit more time before. But the problem is,
I think it'll always be a niche style because there's not a lot really. The style itself is kind of one thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't really have a lot of play into it. It's like Baltic porters. You'll see a lot of Baltic porters out there. I think for good reason.
Yeah. Russian imperial stouts used to be a bigger thing because we didn't have pastry stouts yet.
Yeah.
So this was the heaviest, thickest, creamiest thing you could find. But now we are comparing it to the newer variations, and they're much thinner.
Yeah, this is pretty thin, but I will say overall, I do enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The more I drink it, the more...
The second one, the Aupa Tovarisch. Yes.
Yeah. The more... At first it came off really boozy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just because it's had time to breathe or I'm just adjusting to it. The booziness is kind of receded, and it's just kind of really pleasant and sweet and very, very, very easy to drink. So I'm going to give it I'll give it a really light 4.
Wow. That's so a 3 and a 4. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can give it, if I gave the previous one a 3.25, then I can give this a weak 4.
Yeah. For me, it's a weak 4.
Yeah.
I'm only giving because of the enjoyment of the beer itself. I'm enjoying drinking it.
Right.
I don't know that it's really that good of a beer.
But also the comparison lifts.
Yeah. It definitely raises it quite a bit. Trying the Midnight Harvest again.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, that's a tough beer.
They experimented. That one didn't.
Yeah, it's almost medicinal tasting now.
Yeah.
Wow. That's tough. All right, we'll wrap this up then. Thank you for bringing these. It's a lot of fun to try.
Yep.
You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts, you can find us. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.